Ladies and gentlemen, this is my interview with Paula Atherton.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the Dick Buttons interviews a woman I came across on Facebook and was really taken by. I love this type of music, so I had to have her on. Ladies and gentlemen, Paula Atherton.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Before we get into the music and everything, I want to take it all the way back to the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Before music became such a big part of your life, what kind of kid was Paula Atherton?
I was just really transfixed on music. I there were no musicians in the family. My mother used to play music around the house all the time, Nat King Cole and whatnot. She loved Nat King Cole. Um, and I just wanted to learn about music. And I asked for piano when I was 5, and I don't think they took me seriously. Uh, as I said, there's no musicians in the family, so they just thought I was crazy. So when I got into school, I started singing, and then in 4th grade, we were allowed to pick an instrument. And I think I asked for drums first, and they were like, "No, why don't you play something like a flute?" And I was like, "Okay." I didn't care what it was. I would have played anything they gave me.
It's interesting though, without musicians in the family, where did that incentive come from?
Well, I think music picks you. It's
That's a good answer.
uh, you really have no choice. If music picks you, it's like it's just what you're gonna do. It's
Right.
it's
Now,
just the way it is.
were you the outgoing kid who wanted everybody's attention, or were you comfortable observing everything from the sidelines when you were growing up?
I guess really the second because, I was pretty shy. I was pretty shy. I didn't really feel like I fit in. Um, but, when I got a little older, like, more in my teens and stuff, my friends were really my family. I had a lot of musician friends, and, we had our own little musical family, and it was really great.
Now, would any of your childhood friends be surprised about anything about the person that you become today, or they pretty much know you very well?
I think ones that haven't seen me in a long time, that haven't seen me since school, like, high school and whatnot, yeah, I think that they would be, surprised.
Now, you already answered this question though, so there was no music playing around the house at all when you were growing up?
Oh, no, there was, like I said, my mother used to play Nat King Cole all the
Oh, that's
time.
right, you did say that.
Yeah, and, other stuff that I didn't like, but, that, uh, I was hearing something in that I did like, but I didn't
Yeah,
know
well,
enough about music to know what that was.
yeah, and you mentioned the flute, you didn't pick it, they just said, "How about the flute?" So, were you excited about that, or you just said, "Okay, this is what they're giving me, I guess I have to go with it?"
Well, my friend next door got a flute too, and she was like my best friend. So, that's how kids are. Like if your friend plays violin or whatever, you wanna get one, because your friend has one. Um, but it was really cool because we both like tried to play with records, even
Mhm,
though, like if you're 9 years old, certain kids, like you see all these little kids on the internet now that could play that are like 5. But,
right.
we were trying to play by ear, and when you first start for most people at least, when you first start trying to do that, it's really hard for you to find the notes, and you can't tell even if you have the right notes. Um, but we tried to do that. I remember one day she called me up on the phone, she's like, "Listen, I figured out this really cool way to play Mary Had a Little Lamb." I was like, "Really?" She goes, "Yeah, check this out." So she starts playing ba ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da. So she was like swinging it, and I was like, "Wow, that is so cool." So, that was like my introduction to like thinking about playing something like that, like playing
That's pretty
something
cool.
swing. Oh, yeah, yeah, I mean, just the fact that she thought it up, I thought it was amazing.
And when did the singing come into it? Was that later or
No, I started as a singer in school, and then when I started to work as a singer, that played flute. Saxophone is actually my 3rd instrument. I
yeah, I
added that
find
a
that
little bit later.
interesting. Yeah. So that, you're
Yeah.
a 9-year-old carrying around your flute. Were you the type of kid who couldn't wait to practice? Or as you mentioned, you had your friend and you were just, discovering the instrument and different ways to play different songs, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I had my flute out all the time. I just wanted to play.
Now, was there a moment when you said to yourself, "Wow, I might actually be really good at this"?
I there was a moment when things started to get a little bit easier, and I could see that I was capable of doing certain things, you know? Um, Especially when I first started to improvise in public, like on a show. Um, that's like a whole thing when you realize that you've been practicing this for, like, a long time, right? And now you
Mm,
go out and perform, and you're playing like that for an audience, like, improvising. It's kinda scary, uh, especially in the beginning because 'cause you're making stuff up, right?
right, yeah.
And, coming from being shy, it took me a long time to get over stage fright. Uh, so that was like a whole thing, being able to play in front of an audience and take solos and improvise and have confidence about that. And I think the
Yeah,
only
that's
way that you can do that is to do it.
yeah. So, did you think it was almost like you were another person when you were performing? Like, you put yourself behind the instrument, and that way that shyness went away?
I just developed confidence from doing it.
Now, how
Eh,
early on did you start doing shows? I mean, you were a kid with the flute. How early on?
my late teens.
Now where this is to me, this is an honest question. Where do teenagers go to play a flute? I mean, there weren't kids your age who wanted to hear that type of music, except for your friend, I guess, right?
Well, a jazz club, you know?
Oh, that's true. Okay.
I mean, I spent hours and hours, first singing with Billie Holiday, then singing Lester Young solos. Then I was doing a bunch of trumpet, like Roy Eldridge solos and Lee Morgan, Miles Davis. And then I started to write words to Charlie Parker solos and sing them. So, you know, uh, I was like way into it. But, I'd been studying jazz and also playing like Charlie Parker riffs on flute in every key. And after a while, I just wanted to add some more different colors. And
Right.
I knew a lot of woodwind players would, you know, go to different instruments in the family because a lot of the fingerings are the same. It's just the embouchure and the whole thing with the reeds and everything on saxophone that you have to get used to. But that was a logical place to go.
Was there any type of music that you loved growing up that your friends just, like, shook their head and said that was completely uncool? Or did you hang around everybody who listened to what you listened to?
Um, Yeah, no, I don't remember anybody saying that anything was uncool. My friends at the time, like, had bands and whatnot and played more rock music than anything else. So, I do like all kinds of music. To me, there's 2 kinds of music, either it's good or bad, and I'm pretty open to listening to different types of things.
And that's subjective at its core anyway. What I like and what you like could be 2 totally different things and vice versa. So, I mean, to me, to label music good and bad is probably not accurate because everybody could find something valuable in anything.
Oh, I mean to you, it's either you like it or you don't.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember the first concert you saw? Uh,
Let's see. Not offhand. It was probably something, like, my friends or, a group playing in high school, because the, high schools in the area used to have, like, concerts every now and then. That was probably something like that.
who was the first artist that you became completely obsessed with?
Ah, there's so many. Um Probably on the jazz end, I would have to say, Charlie Parker. Um, Early on when I heard, like, some vocal jazz, Lambert Hendricks and Ross and Ella Fitzgerald, um, and then Pat Martino, Charlie Parker. I started to hear this stuff and I was like, I gotta learn how to do it is what they're doing because it just sounded so crazy to me, and I just wanted to, like, learn all about it.
Do you remember your first performance in front of an actual audience? Can you recall that moment?
Uh, yeah, I mean, not playing my stuff, but, doing like it was probably a private party of some sort because, there's a fair amount of that type of work in New York, corporate stuff, private parties and all that, and that felt like a good way for me to, like, try to get out there and try to get over my fear of playing in
Right.
front of people. So, yeah, it was something like that.
Do you remember the first compliment you ever received about your playing that really stayed with you?
Well, um, people come up and they like to give you a compliment, but sometimes they don't know what to say. So, I've learned that this is a compliment, and people come up to me and they say that I play like a guy.
What? That's a compliment?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, do you take it as a compliment, or you say that's what they think is a compliment?
I take it as a compliment because I know that they're trying to give me a compliment.
Okay. But
Does
there
it
there could be
make any
better
sense?
there could be better players that are women than men. I mean, I don't wanna segregate it like that.
Right.
What do you say to them? Just say thank you? Or did you explain to them how it's a backhanded compliment, or you just let it go?
No, 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 I would never do that. I just say thank you, yeah. Yeah.
When did it become, a serious I don't wanna use the word obsession, but when did you realize in your teens that, "Okay, this is what I want to do," as opposed to just being a hobby?
It was never a hobby.
Never I like that answer.
I just had one track mind and what I wanted to do. There was nothing that, would change that.
It's funny, most, successful artists and whether it's actor, musician, they all seem to have that same mindset that there was just one choice. There wasn't a choice. It was just this or nothing.
Yeah, that it's like what I said before, music chooses you. If it's in your heart, it's so all-encompassing, the music thing. I mean, you have to study, learn all your fundamentals, develop your foundation, and, once you're capable of going out there and performing, it never ends. I mean, it's always you're always learning. You're always learning and trying to grow. And, I just think it's the best job in the world because first of all, this friend of mine said this recently, we're in the joy business.
Yeah.
We play to bring happiness to people. And, and it's an art form where you can just keep growing your entire life. Uh, I feel sorry for people that aren't musicians.
Oh, well, yeah, that I agree with you. I think there's an outlet there. It's almost therapeutic too. You could be in
Yeah.
a really bad mood and you just put it down on a piece of paper or a music sheet and let all that out. I think it's a great outlet.
It is, and the thing you said about it being therapeutic, well, it certainly is. I have a music therapy degree, and when I'm in New York, I do some work for this wonderful organization called Music That Heals, and we play for, people in hospice and cancer patients and, autistic kids and things like that. So, I just try to do good in the world with my music in different ways.
That's awesome. Now, on the opposite side of this, did anyone ever discourage you or suggest that, wanting to play music wasn't a realistic choice?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah.
How did you handle that?
I said, "Okay," and I walked away.
Was it anybody of any consequence to you and your family, or was it just friends or
Well, people offering their 2 cents.
Oh, people love to do that, by the way.
Yeah, no. Well, I started, like, with a quartet, I think, um, and in the beginning, I didn't write yet. So I was doing my own version of certain standards and, and the like, and as I started to write, I started to do more, put my tunes in the set, and so
Mhm.
people would say, "You can't just write music and go out and play your own music." I'm like, "Okay." So then I just kept doing it.
I mean, a lot of people would be discouraged by that, but I think it says a lot about your personality and your fortitude that, you knew what you wanted, and the hell with what other people said, you just wanted to do it. And that I think that's a testament to where you are in your career today.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I didn't know what it would take to get there, but I was determined to find out.
I wanna, pivot a little bit, before we get into everything else. What is your feelings on the state of the music industry today?
Things are a little tricky with the advent of AI. I'm not sure where that's all going. I heard that there's a Billboard AI chart. I don't even
Yeah,
really
there is.
know. I don't even really know what that means.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
I think people were upset that AI generated music was actually getting plays and streams and, people were, like, felt fooled or whatever, but I mean, they're labeling the songs now, and it's gonna have its own Billboard chart, which I don't know if that's fair to do. I don't know.
or necessary? Like,
Is it
what's the
necessary?
point?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, listen, to me, I think you even said it. Good music is good music. However it's generated is immaterial to me.
Well, there's legal things. You can't copyright something that AI did. It's not yours.
Well, if you write the lyrics,
You could copyright the lyrics, but, a song is lyrics and melody. That's what a copyright is, those 2 parts, lyrics and
mhm,
melody. So I guess if you write the lyrics and put it into, like, Suno, right? But they
right?
do the melody, you could copyright the lyrics only, so you don't own the song in its entirety. You own the lyrics.
And that now I read, I think just last week, Suno is going to somehow watermark embedded into the file that it's made with AI. So when you upload to Spotify and iTunes and stuff like that, the computers will know, and I don't know, label it differently. I don't know. I'm not quite 100% sure how they're going to do that, but
Well,
listen, AI is here to stay, whether you like it or not. I think the cat's been out of the bag quite some time with that. At least that's how I feel.
I hope it's used more for good than not.
Right. I mean, yeah, music aside, there are medical applications, there are scientific applications, and of course, with everything in life, there's going to be people who do nefarious and horrible things with it. Uh, but it's just how you navigate all of that that is presented to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Enough
Well,
on A enough on AI. I just wanted to get your I always like to get musicians' opinions on that because I've gotten answers ranging from they welcome it and I use it to people who hate it and think it should be abolished. So I always like to get another musician's opinion on that.
yeah. Well, it's new, so we have to see where things go, but, I like humans making music better.
I agree. I agree. Alright, so, who was the first person that believed you could make a living doing this before you completely believed in yourself? But I'm gonna answer that sort of for you. I already know that you believed in yourself from a very early on, uh, part of your career, but was there one person who really championed what you were doing?
Um, yeah, I had a dear friend of mine, that just passed away recently
Oh,
that
sorry.
w that was there for a big chunk of my life, that was, uh, a mentor and, who really, like, guided me. Not so much musically, but just, like, helped me in life 'cause, I was out on my own at an early age. My parents died when I was young. So, you know, um, he was a really good friend and mentor for a very long time.
Okay. Um, if you could sit down with a 15-year-old version of yourself for 10 minutes, what about her would make you smile?
Um, I'm sure that I had tenacity at that point in time. Uh, so I didn't have a great situation going on. And I had to get out on my own early. So I'm really happy that I had the wherewithal to put that all together.
So when did the saxophone make its first appearance?
In my late teens, maybe 19, I think. I think I got a soprano first, which was cool. Uh, just trying to get used to the whole thing. And then I got an alto and started taking lessons. I already knew and was studying music, but I had to get with a teacher that was actually a saxophone player just to get uh, some knowledge about the instrument itself and all the idiosyncrasies about it.
Now, if your voice, the flute, and your saxophone were 3 different people sitting at a bar, could you describe their personalities to me?
Okay, I'll try to do that. The saxophone is a person that's always like searching and looking for new ways to do things. The flute is a very upbeat person, happy person, and fun, fun person. And the vocal is always looking for different ways to express themselves and express emotion.
I like that answer. Have you ever written something, listening to sing it and then realize, "Nope, this saxophone needs to tell the story." Did that ever happen?
Yeah, I mean, that happened on a song on Groove with Me. Um, when it's called Winds of Change. I actually wrote it for my mom. Mm. And we listened back to the lyrics and said, no. It's too personal. It was too personal to release.
So that could happen, right? You could write something and then you could just say, "Nah, I don't want this out there." That's interesting.
Yeah, it was, my mom died of cancer when I was a little kid, and it yeah, I expressed myself lyrically in the song, but it wasn't for public consumption.
Right. I like that. Now, we will pivot to songwriting. So when an idea for a song, hits you, what actually arrives first? A melody, a rhythm, a feeling, a title, or something you can't even describe? You know this should be a song.
It all depends, it comes in different ways. If I'm sitting at the keyboard and I start fooling around with some chords, it could come from that. I could be out walking my dog and hear a melody, or sometimes I'll just fool around with a bass line and start from that, or I'll hear a groove and I wanna write something in that groove. Um, it comes in all different ways, and nobody really minds how it comes just as long as it shows up.
Now what do you do? Do you have a little recorder with you? A pad do you walk around with, so when you have something that pops into your head, you could write it down or record it?
Yeah, yeah, the voice memo in my phone.
You ever go back and listen to something and go, "What the hell was I thinking?" What I or you don't remember what you were trying to convey in the message, and it just sits there for a while?
You mean, in my voice memo?
Yeah, like you let's say you're walking your dog, you hear something, or a melody popped in your head, and you put down a voice message, then you go back to it later on, and you don't remember what that genesis was.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, especially if I don't, like, snap my fingers or have any, like, um, something to relate back to as a beat, it might sound a little bit too nebulous.
Now, can you hear the entire arrangement in your head, or does the song reveal itself piece by piece when you're putting it together?
Uh, Again, it's all different. I've written 1 or 2 songs quickly, and that scares the hell out of me because, if it comes too fast, it's like so my song Christmas Time, I wrote that, I think I wrote the music the first day, and I sat down and wrote the lyrics the second day, and it was done. So I played it for my husband. I'm like, "This is either really good or it's terrible, so you have to tell me," because it came to me really quickly, and I don't trust it, you know?
Is he a good sounding board for you?
Yeah, I mean, he probably gets tired of it, but, yeah, I mean, you gotta bounce it off somebody, so he's the first he lives here, so he's the first person that I bounce things off of.
Now you spent years studying other musicians' solos. At what point does learning somebody else's musical language stop being imitation and start becoming your own vocabulary? I mean, I know you could pull from people's work and make it your own. At what point does that transition happen?
Well, you really have to find your own voice on your instrument firstly, if that's a word. Uh, you
I think it
it's
is.
it's a difficult thing to do, to find your own sound, to have your own sound, but that's really important. You want people to hear you playing and know that it's you before they see anything.
Yeah, that makes
So,
sense.
yeah, so that's number 1. The way in which I learned from the solos, I sang with them mostly. Some of them I transcribed and played, but a lot of them I sang with, so I got, like, the blueprint in my head of where you could go and the sound of what you could do over particular chord changes without actually copying it.
Mm.
So, I was getting, like, the blueprint in my brain of that sort of thing, right? You you ha you have to learn from somewhere.
Yep.
So, an obvious place to go is to learn from the masters and pick apart what they did, "Oh, I like the way that sounds on that chord. Why do I like that? Oh, that's what the 9 sounds like. That's what the sharp 11 sounds like. That's what" you need to, like, relate you can learn this stuff, right? But you need to relate it to particular sound so you know what it is.
Mhm.
So, it's, um it's just something that happens organically over time. Hopefully hopefully you start to, like, listen to yourself and create your own. Look, these days, what do we have? We have tons of tribute bands, right?
Mhm.
So, obviously, they're just trying to recreate the recording as best they can of whatever artist or group, they're
I mean,
doing the tribute of.
there's an art to that, I think.
Yeah.
I've interviewed a couple tribute artists on the podcast and, they're doing a service because some artists are not with us anymore or don't perform anymore, so, I mean, there's a value to it, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'm not negating the value to it, but it's the opposite of you
Right.
finding your own voice and you finding your own sound and creating your own
Yeah.
art.
What's harder for you, creating the first 20% of a song or the last 20%?
Um, they're all different. Sometimes things come to you and let's say you got a whole A section and you really like it. I got a song like that right now. I don't know where it's gonna go from there. I keep trying to, like, find places for it to go, and so far I haven't. So, they're all different. It's never the same.
Do you find that situation frustrating or, energizing to you that you can't really find a place for it to go? Do you like that challenge or is it get frustrating?
I like the challenge, and that's part of the growth, right? You get there and you don't know where to go. So you have to keep pushing yourself and just questioning things and trying to make things work.
Yeah. Do you ever listen to one of your old recordings and think, "Wow, I wouldn't play that solo quite the same the way today?"
Yeah, and I've had the opposite too, like, when I was recording, this one tune comes to mind, 20 Miles to Nowhere. Uh, Lou produced it, my husband produced it, and, he doesn't tell me what to play, but he'll say, "Maybe try something with, like, a long note in this part, and then, go on from there." And he gave me some, advice on my solo in that song, and I followed it, but I hated it. I hated the solo. I couldn't listen to the song until after it came out. Now I really like it.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea.
That's interesting.
Yeah, when I
Uh,
was recording it, I couldn't take it at all. But that's the thing, like, when you're working on an album or a bunch of tunes, you're, like, you're in the thick of it, right? So you need to, like, actually get away from it to be able to listen to it. You can't hear the whole song when you're in the middle of working on it.
yeah. Now, Can You Feel It reached number 1 on Billboard for 3 consecutive weeks, alongside number 1 positions on Mediabase and Smooth Jazz Network. What were your, feelings when that happened?
Uh,
When that happened?
uh, elated, ecstatic, you gotta remember, this was 2020, and I'm in New York.
Right. Yeah.
So COVID, we were losing 8,000 people a day. That we were watching this stuff, our governor was showing us these things on TV that was scaring the hell out of us. They had, like, these refrigerator trucks in parking lots with bodies in it because they had nowhere to put them.
Right.
I mean, and we couldn't work, right? So, Can You Feel It came out in January of that year, and I think by May it was number 1. So I had never had a number 1 before. I didn't even have a top 10 before, I don't think at that point. So
Wow.
it was just crazy. It was just crazy.
Now
And,
everybody sees number 1 on the chart. What's something that happened behind the scenes on the road to number 1 that nobody saw or would know?
um, well, it was produced by Greg Manning, who, uh, who I had known for, I think about 5 or 6 years at that point because we were label mates on Kalimba. Um, and it was really funny because he played at Spaghettini's with me when Kalimba came down. I had already signed a contract with them in 2015. I don't know if you know what Kalimba is, but it was Maurice White's label from Earth, Wind& and Fire.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
Yeah, so Greg was the first person to get signed on Kalimba, um, and we were shopping that record at the time. It was Ear Candy that I'm talking about, and so, that was one of the labels that we had shopped it to. So, Luke called over there in the morning, not in the morning, I don't know what time it was the first day that he called, but, he said, "I'm Paula Atherton's producer, and we have a new project. We'd like to know if you'd like to hear it." So the guy that answered the phone said, "Let me take your number. If they're interested, they'll call you back." Click. He said, "Forget it." Next
Hmm.
morning at like 10 o'clock, like 7 a.m. California time, the phone rings. He picks up the phone, and it's the A&R guy from Kalimba Music, and he said, "I love Paula's music. Can you send it right over?" And he said, okay." And hung up, and I said, What? What's that?" He said, "It was the A&R guy from Kalimba. He said he loves your music and he wants to hear the record." And that right there was like, "You mean it's not all going into a black hole somewhere? Like, somebody actually heard my music and liked it?"
So
Because,
that leads yeah, that's interesting too, and that leads me to my next question. What affected you more emotionally, the first time you heard yourself on the radio or the first time your name was sitting at number 1?
well, the first time you hear yourself on the radio, you just go nuts. It's like that, did you see that Tom Hanks movie, That
Oh,
Thing You
yes,
Do?
the thing you do, yeah.
It's like
That's
that.
one that's one of my favorite movies too.
Me too. I'm a big Tom Hanks fan.
Yeah, is there a song in your catalog that never became the big hit you thought it deserved to be?
There's probably quite a few of them. Sometimes, you start to work a single and it just doesn't go anywhere, so you have to cut and run.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Do you
we
equate chart success with, everything that you create? or does that ever mess with your creativity?
So here's the thing, it's like I saw an interview with Cyndi Lauper recently, and she said, "You need a little bit of success at least to go forward."
Oh, yeah,
So that's the thing, right? So I I record singles for radio with that in mind. I'm working
right.
on a single for radio, right? But a lot of the rest of the album, I just do what I want. So on radio, you hear me playing alto saxophone. You don't hear me singing really or playing soprano or flute. So there's a lot of music that goes into like a full release, an album, if you will, that you don't hear on radio. Unless you're talking about like, streaming, online stations and things like that, and then you'll hear my whole catalog.
Yeah, it's hard to make money on streaming nowadays too. What it was like 0.00001 cent per stream. I mean,
It's
it's
a hundredth of a penny per stream.
okay. That's what yeah. I mean, that's crazy if you think about it. Like back in the day when bands got signed, you don't even have to go that far back. Even in the '80s when the hair metal took off, those bands were given loads of cash to record them. It doesn't work that way anymore. I don't think, at least.
No, I mean, it's pretty dismal with,
Mhm. Mm.
earnings in that arena. It's
Does
not
that ever
great.
just does that discourage you at all, Paula?
No, I get to make a living with my music. I'm one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome.
It's it's a dream that I never thought would come true.
Now, after you had that first number 1, is there a little voice that creeps into you, "Okay, I gotta do it again?" Are you chasing that number 1 again?
Uh, well, I've had a couple other ones, which is great, and I think it helps put you on the map somewhat, you know? Uh, Airplay is always advertising, and the more, spins you get, the higher you get on the chart. That's how it works, and, so the more people have heard you. So, again, like Cyndi Lauper said, you need a little bit of success to go forward, but, it's not every song's gonna go to number 1. It's just, like, the way it is.
Right, yeah. Now, you've shared the stage with some legendary musicians. Who completely surprised you once you actually met them?
Um, well, one person is McCoy Tyner. I got to my this, person that was, like, booking me for a little while was his manager, so I got to meet him, and he was just so sweet. Um, most musicians, like, especially really evolved ones. I haven't met Herbie Hancock yet, but I I bet he's a really, like, sweet guy, you know? Um, People that are so evolved like that stay humble their whole life because that's how they learn, that's how they continue to learn. So, they're usually, like, really, really nice people on top of being extremely accomplished.
Mm. Now, you spent a week performing at the Blue Note with Hank Jones. Forget his resume for a second. What did simply being around someone like Hank teach you?
Well, that was crazy because, when I got the call, I was like, "What? You want me to what?" Uh, Not just Hank, who's amazing enough, playing with Billie Holiday and Charlie Parker and everything, there were a couple of other people in the band that, were in their 80s at the time, and, Eddie Burt and Joe Wilder, and they had played with, like, Dizzy and Burt as well. So, every night, I heard stories about what went on 52nd Street and all the stuff that was going on back then, and man, that was a real education.
Was there ever a musician you admired from afar who became even more impressive after you got to know them?
Ah, I guess my dear friend Nick Collione, um, yeah, as I got to know him, he's, I've said this before, you look up the word magnanimous in the dictionary, and His picture's there. He,
That's
uh
awesome.
yeah, he gave, guitar lessons to the kids his wife taught in school, so he would give free guitar lessons to kids there. He put on a play, passion play, every spring at the school and helped me, helped so many people. He wrote, "My Song for You" for me, which wound up being my very first song to get picked up by SiriusXM, and now it has about 6 million streams on Spotify.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, sure
What does
is.
does that translate to, $7? I'm just making a joke, but
Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't even really wanna do the math.
yeah. What is the greatest piece of musical advice another musician has ever given you?
I guess, just stay with it, keep going. You're on the right track, keep going.
Was that anybody in particular or just in general?
I heard that from a couple of people that, saw that I was, stubborn and I wasn't gonna give up.
Now, we've already talked about the songwriting aspect and how
Mm.
you said that one song was just too personal. Is that the one thing that eventually will come out, or you made that decision that that's never gonna see the light of day? Y
I don't think that's ever gonna come out.
Okay. When you're writing, do you think about something jazz, or do you just write and figure out what the hell it is afterward?
Sometimes I just, I get an idea for something, and I usually know if it's gonna be a vocal tune because if I need to tell a story about something, it's gonna be a vocal tune. But if I just hear, like, some kinda riff, some line or a groove or something like that, I gotta just start working on it to see where it goes.
What's the one song that you've written, where there's a line you're most proud of, but probably isn't the line that listeners would notice?
Um, I don't know, I mean, one of the tunes I wrote for the last record, I think is a cool line, "Inside Out Backwards."
Oh, I like that.
I was just, like, practicing, like, one of the things I practice is, approach note. This thing called approach note exercises, and what they are is you approach the scale tones from above and below. So I was doing an exercise like that, and then this line came out, and then I played it up a fourth and went back to it and changed it around a little bit, so, that became kind of a fun and funky thing to play.
Is there a version of Paula Atherton musically that we haven't met yet?
Yes, and you're gonna meet them pretty soon.
Ooh, exciting.
I'm
You're
gonna
you're
do
coming
s
out with a heavy metal band, right? Is that it?
Nope, I'm coming out with a standards record.
Ooh, I like that. When
My
is that?
background's in traditional jazz, and you never hear me do that.
Is that almost done, or is that in the early stages of being done?
I've selected a bunch of tunes for it and some things that I've written and some American songbook type tunes that I wanna do a beautiful arrangement of with strings and stuff like that. So, the recording itself hasn't really started yet, but I have it in my head.
Okay. If you could make one album with absolutely 0 concern about radio, charts, genre, or what anybody else expects from Paula, what would that record sound like?
Uh, just for the hell of it, I'd probably like to go back to I have a whole bunch of jazz fusion tunes, um, that I wrote that I used to play before I kinda changed, my writing up a little bit. Because when I was doing fusion, it's really hard to get played on the radio.
Yeah, there's not
So,
a
yeah,
I could see that.
but it's fun
Is
music to play.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, listen, you have to be for me, the way I would look at it, I'm not a musician, I love music, but I mean, you have to be happy. I think if you start churning out stuff just to appease the radio, the charts, I think it becomes more of a a job than it is just a labor of love. Did I miss the mark on that, or
No, no, you're right. I mean, the idea is okay, so, like, what I said before, if I'm writing for radio, there's certain, like, parameters that I'm just gonna stay in, but it's not a kind of thing like, "I'm only writing this for radio and I hate it." It's never that.
right?
It's
I mean,
never
that
that.
that would be sort of disingenuous to do, though, right? I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely. I still I'm right with it, I really like it, and it just happens to be 4 minutes long.
I mean, have you ever come has there ever been an instance with a producer where they insisted on something? Did you ever just say, "Okay," or do you stand your ground and it always has to be your way?
A good producer brings out the best in you, guides you, but doesn't tell you exactly what to do, right?
Right, yeah.
So if
That's where I'm
somebody did that, yeah, I'd have a problem with that, and has that happened? Yes,
and they probably weren't the producer for very long after that, correct?
that is correct.
Mm. Now, is there an instrument sitting in the dark corner somewhere, that's saying, "Paula's gonna pick me up eventually"?
Yes, my little clarinet.
You haven't done any recording with your clarinet at all?
I am a clarinet owner.
Okay. But nothing's been recorded or put down?
No, 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 that's not gonna happen. It might happen with my piccolo. That could
Pic
happen.
piccolo, now there's an interesting
I have recorded on soprano, but I don't write a lot of stuff for soprano now because I can't get it on the plane, you know? I know some people get these double alto soprano cases, but sometimes I wind up on a CRJ 900 or
right.
an Embraer 170 or 175. It ain't gonna fit in that over it, and then they look at me and they're like, "Oh, pink tag," I'm like, you
No,
know?
you don't wanna put that below. No,
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 no.
no, no, no. With bad things could happen. Bad things can happen, so
Alright, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. There's a segment I like to do in all my interviews called Big Button's Lightning Round, where these are fast-paced questions. I don't want you to think, I just want you to give me an answer. Is that
okay.
cool?
Alright, I'll try.
Saxophone or singing?
Both.
Flute or sax?
Both.
Studio or stage?
Both.
You're not making this fun. Small intimate jazz club or huge outdoor festival?
Both. And I'll tell you
Hey,
why I said both about
alright,
everything.
alright, good. Go
When
ahead,
you're
tell
done.
me. No, okay. Now this one you can't say both because it's against the rules. New York pizza or New York bagel?
I'm allergic to both, so neither.
Oh, okay. Song you wish you had written?
So many. Overjoyed.
One musician, living or gone, that you'd love to jam with?
Miles Davis.
Most underrated saxophone player?
Wow. Uh, I really have to think about that. Um,
Okay, we
I gotta get back to you on that one.
okay. One instrument you wish you could instantly master?
Piano.
Wine, cocktail, beer, or none of the above?
Cocktail.
Me too. One food that you could eat every day?
Guacamole.
Ooh, now it has to be made right. Do you make your own guacamole?
Sometimes.
There's an art to it, I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Gotta
what
put
do
the
you
right
put it
amount of cilantro.
onion go in yours?
Red onion, yeah.
Red onion, right? Tomato, okay. That there's a marketing thing. You should do Paula Atherton guacamole.
You know, you may have a thought there.
You could sell it at the shows.
I'm telling you, it's on my merch table already in my mind.
Alright, a couple more.
Doesn't keep that well though. It doesn't travel well.
That's true, yes.
Nobody wants to
Biggest
buy brand guacamole.
That's true, and you really you have to eat it the day you make it. Even the next day, it's not the same,
Right.
at least for me. Biggest pet peeve?
Bad sound guys.
One bad habit you know you should probably give up.
Working every night till 11 o'clock, even if I don't have a show.
Time management's important. What's something you're surprisingly good at that has nothing to do with music?
Um, I'm trying to think of the things that I'm good at that have nothing to do with music. I think, connecting people that could maybe help each other.
Oh, that's a good one to have.
Yeah,
If you weren't a musician, what would you be doing today?
I might be a photographer.
Oh. You get one superpower, what are you taking?
Um, Helping those in need.
Wow, you give such good answers, Paula. Stranded on an island, one album, what are you bringing?
It's a toss-up between Kinda Blue and Bill Evans' Alone.
Okay. And last one, who would play Paula Atherton in the movie of your life?
Oh, gee. Trying to think of, somebody that I mean, I'd love to have Meryl Streep play me, but
Oh, she's too old, though.
oh, yeah. Uh, well, if it's someone through your life, I guess it has to be a few people.
Oh, that's true,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know. I would hope that someone that really had depth as an actress, someone like that.
Okay. Now you mentioned Meryl Streep or I mentioned movies. Do you ever think about doing soundtrack work?
I have.
Oh, you have? Okay. You enjoy
I
that process or
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I did the score for The Definition of Insanity, which was an indie film, and that was really interesting because they said they only wanted 2 instruments on the soundtrack,
oh,
upright bass and saxophone. So they gave me the movie with the window burns, and I had to, like, line up pieces, this many seconds, that many seconds, and it was an interesting way to work, and, it was the first time I ever did that. And then one of my songs got used in more recent history in my friend's film. My friend, Kevin Tudor, we call him Doc Tudor, and he used Into the Night, from I think that's from Shake It, and as the opening track of his movie.
okay. Are all your friends in your life musicians? Do you is that where you find yourself gravitating to, or do you have I'll use the word normies who are not into music?
I have friends that aren't music. I have friends in my neighborhood that I made where I live here, uh, my next door neighbors are just like the best people. And, I just really get a kick out of them, and they come to my shows sometimes, um, so that's just been really fun. I always fight with my neighbor, Anna, next door. We're always, like, yelling over the fence, "You're the best neighbor! No, you're the best neighbor! No, you're the best neighbor!"
Now
So,
is that recording studio in your house? So
yeah,
where you're
it's a whole
sitting? Oh,
bottom
that's
floor of my house. Yeah.
that's awesome. So you don't have to
Yep.
go far to when the creative bug hits you, you're just right there.
No, but it is open to the public, so I can't get in all the time.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
There's probably gonna be a session here in about a half hour.
alright, we're wrapping up soon. At this point in your career, what
Uh-huh.
still gets you genuinely excited about making new music?
When I have an idea that I think is a good one, you worry that, like, at some point, the ideas won't come anymore
Mm. Has that
because
ever
you don't
happened
know
to you?
where they come from. It's not like, you put money in a gumball machine and it comes out, it's if the
Right.
muses are feeling it that day, they'll send you something.
I remember a quote from Paul Stanley of Kiss, who said, when you're young and you're coming up and you're writing about angst and all this stuff, and then when you become famous and you're riding around in limos and people are there, it's hard to come up with the same intensity of subject matter to write about because you're living this glamorous life now. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Well, I get rides in limos sometimes, but I'm an indie, I'm an indie artist in a niche genre. So, uh, I don't live like the Taylor Swift life or anything like that. I can walk down the block and I don't have a problem. Um,
uh, what are your thoughts on Taylor, by the way? I'll throw that out there real quick. I mean, a lot of artists I interview, it's split down the middle. Some hate her with all of the passion there is in the world, and other just respect what she has done and built.
I don't know understand how you could hate her. She's a very prolific songwriter. She's made a herself she's a self-made billionaire.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Sh she gives a lot of money to charity.
To me,
Um,
I think it comes off very jealous. I think uh,
yeah,
that's how that's
that's a wasted emotion right there.
I agree.
You
Is
never
there
wanna go there.
is there something creatively that you haven't done yet that keeps nagging at you? An album, a different style, another instrument, or something completely outside of what people would expect from you?
Well, what we were talking about before, my standards record. I don't know if people know that that's my background or would expect that from me, but, I'm definitely gonna get to that.
Okay, and after that, when you think about your next chapter, are you looking to evolve yourself even more, or go back to what you originally were doing?
Evolve, as much as I can, and see what else I can do in the world, see where else my music can take me and, what other things it can do. I do workshops sometimes for, Dakota Sax, the company that I represent, and, mm, you find out all kinds of great things. Trying to teach kids, you learn a lot of times just as much as they do. And, I remember this one jazz workshop I did in Alabama. It's usually the girls that are afraid to, like, even bring their instrument out of the case, because women, there's just like this unspoken thing in society. You're not good enough, people are gonna laugh at you. So I can usually get the boys to, like, do something. So I had a backing track for blues, and I taught them the blues scale, and this one trumpet player, I'm playing it, and I played ahead, and then I'm trying to trade fours with this trumpet player, and he's just, like, got his head down, and he's, like, scared and everything. So I come over to him, and I just start playing, like, little riffs, and, like, I hear him play, and he's, like, parroting me. He's playing back to me what I played to him. So that means he's got this connection already between this and this. That
Right.
takes a while. That doesn't just come overnight, but he's already got it, and he doesn't even realize it.
Wow.
So by the end, we're just going back and forth and we're really trading. He's really listening and playing off what I played to him. And by the time we finished, the entire class is up and clapping for him. So he went from like being like this, all scared, to like playing and the entire class like erupting in applause. So you think about that, and when he goes home and tells his family what happened that day in school, what do you think that did for his confidence?
Oh my god, I can't even imagine. That's gotta be such a confidence booster to have people clapping for you. I mean, that's gotta be the best thing in the world.
Uh, you know, t it's incredible, and so much can be learned from music, right? Discipline, confidence, it helps you with math, it helps you with language, so many things, and it's being taken out of schools all over the country. And then you see, like, school shootings and terrible things that kids get into because they don't have music or art to be
Yeah,
involved in.
I'm with you, 100%. Is there an artist that you never worked with where you think, "Just put the 2 of us in a studio," and you think something really special could happen?
Yeah, a lot of them. And first I'd have to get over, "Oh my god, it's so and so," you know? Um, Herbie Hancock, as I spoke about before, I mean, it would take a while to get down to, like, 0 to be able to just, like, look at him and not be like, "Oh my god," the whole time, you know? Michael
Right.
McDonald,
Oh, I love Michael McDonald.
John Baptiste, I mean,
Now, you
Al
real quick,
Jarreau, although he's
uh,
not here anymore.
John Baptiste, real sideline question, because do you think when he did his work with, now I'm gonna sound ignorant if this is not the same person. The guy he worked with Colbert, right?
Yeah, he was a band leader, yeah.
Right, so do musicians look at that and go, "Oh, he's sold out?"
No, he was one of the lucky ones that actually got a gig on TV. Think about how many TV bands there are.
Yeah, I mean, there was Paul
So few.
Schaefer
Right.
and you can go back even to Johnny Carson, Doc Severinsen, and all of that, so,
Not many.
yeah, not but you're right, it's just a handful.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and, he left to take care of his wife,
yeah, yeah. Alright,
his
so
wife Sulika.
10 years from now, Paula, what would you like someone discovering your music for the first time to understand about you?
Um, I don't know, I guess that I'm multifaceted, uh, people are always trying to, like, put you in a box, you know? What would you mi they, like, ask you, "What would you miss most if you didn't do?" Like that.
Yeah.
It's it's about the song. It's about the song that I'm writing. It all comes from here, and it's about the song. Which instrument, or is it my voice? Is it a flute? Is it a alto sax, a soprano sax? What is it?
Okay. What's left for you to prove? Not to the music industry, but to yourself.
Um, I'm not really looking to prove anything. I'm just looking to keep creating art that I'm proud of, and that's not an easy thing to do. So I'm just always striving for that and to be able to reach as many people as possible.
All right, last 3 questions, Paula. Looking back at that little girl who first picked up that flute at 9 years old, what do you think she'd say if you could show her everything that was waiting for her?
She she would be shocked.
You should be very proud about that. I mean, that is your the career you've created is nothing short of spectacular. And now when all is said and done, beyond the charts, beyond the records, the concerts, the accolades, what do you hope people remember when they hear the name Paula Atherton?
Um, that either my music touched them or something I did for them touched them.
All right, and then finish this sentence for me. The best thing about being Paula Atherton is.
Uh, that I get to make a living from my own music and touch people. I mean, I have people come up to me sometimes at a show and they'll say, "Oh, I was feeling like really down and I came to see you and you lifted me up."
Yeah, how could you get anything better than that, right? I mean, that's gotta be that's special.
It doesn't get better than that.
Well, listen, I wanna
It's
thank you for taking the time to sitting down with me. I know you have a busy schedule. Before we go, you wanna tell anybody you got something coming up? You mentioned the Standards album, but are you gonna be playing live anywhere that you wanna? Because 'cause I'll probably get this edited and it'll be dropped next week sometime, so anything after Monday of next week, if you have anything coming up.
Yes, I do. Offhand in October, I'm actually gonna be playing with Peter White at Scullers in Boston on October 3rd, and then October 17th, um, I'm gonna be playing at The Room at Cedar Grove it's spelled Lewes, but it's pronounced Lewis, Delaware, It's pretty
Okay.
close to Rehoboth, and it's during the time of the Rehoboth Jazz Festival. This place is owned by Paul Cullen, who used to play in the rock band Bad Company.
Oh, yeah.
So he uses all the proceeds from, uh, the room to give scholarships to culinary and music students.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's a really fun room to play, and, he's an example of doing good in the world, with your celebrity. That's why I love people like Keanu Reeves, who's, like, always doing stuff, and, Jon Bon Jovi
Yeah.
with his soul food restaurants, and, the people that have the means to do it, and do it. I have very much respect for them.
Yeah. Alright, thanks again, Paul. I appreciate you taking the time. Um, I enjoyed this immensely. I'll get it edited as quickly as possible, but thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. You have a great day.